if you're on Zepbound or any GLP-1 and you're only doing cardio or walking, you might be making a big mistake. Building muscle is one of the smartest things you can do while being on this medication. It protects you from Ozempic phase, boosts your metabolism, and helps you continue down the path of losing weight and building muscle even when the scale doesn't move. Look, I've lost over 100 pounds so far on my journey, and this is the change that helped me continue on and break through multiple plateaus. Today, I'm sharing exactly why strength training matters on a GLP-1 and what you can do to get started today without overdoing it. Hey, what's going on? My name is Chris. Welcome to the channel where we talk all things GLP-1, weight loss, and lifestyle changes to live a happier and healthier life. Started a year ago on a GLP-1 journey at 377 pounds.
Damn.
Not proud of that. Now I've lost over 100 pounds and I'm well on my way to my 180 pound goal, which I did set originally. It sounded really good to me, but I may alter that more as I've been going to the gym more and building muscle. So we'll see. We'll see. The more I've looked into this and watched other people and listened to what other people say, I think a lot of people confuse weight loss with fat loss. Yes, you lose fat while you lose weight, but you can also lose muscle along the way. And we don't want to do that. Muscle is incredibly beneficial to your weight loss journey and your overall health. And I want to discuss that a little bit so we can change that focus from just weight loss and start looking at how to focus specifically on the fat loss part of it. Look, it is my belief, and it is backed by multiple studies, that adding muscle and adding resistance training to build that muscle overall has a positive compounded impact on the weight loss journey and burning fat. So we're going to get into that in a couple of different ways today. And I hope I'm going to spell out in a way that doesn't sound intimidating and is encouraging to help you maybe get started in doing some resistance training, weight training, and hopefully that helps push through some plateaus and helps push you along your journey to get to that goal a little bit faster. So just like anybody else, when you hop on the scale, you want to see it go down. At the end of the day, that's what we care about. I remember when I started my weight loss journey, or anytime I've ever gone on any kind of diet or anything, I just wanted to see that number go down. I didn't care if I was losing muscle, fat, skin, hair, or anything else. Cut off an arm. I just wanted to see the number go down, because that's all that bothered me, was that I was fat, I was overweight, I was unhappy with where I was. And at the end of the day, that's what mattered to me most. And I think a lot of people fixate on that and have so much control over that. That's one of the things this channel is going to focus on, is changing the mindset and not focus on that number so much on the scale, not to let it have so much power over us, which it does. And look, I get it. I've been there. I've had to change my mindset. And like I said, I hope I'm able to help you guys out with that as well. So yes, we want to see that number go down, but we would love to lose more fat than anything else, obviously, right? So we're going to talk about that a little bit. When you do lose weight, if you're not doing any kind of resistance training and you're losing just regular weight every day, every week, every month, or whatever, compounded over time, you can lose up to 40% of your muscle mass. Like every pound that you lose could be made up to 40% of muscle, meaning 60% would be coming from fat or elsewhere. That may not seem shocking to you or a deal breaker to you right now, but over time, it can be absolutely devastating. And you don't want to lose that muscle. It's significantly harder to build muscle than it is to maintain the muscle that you already have. And having that muscle is going to help you long-term through your weight loss journey and beyond. So losing the muscle lowers your metabolic rate, your basal metabolic rate. I've talked about that before in this video here. You can go check that out in a minute. Not yet, but you can go check that out. But yes, you want to have a higher BMR, so you're burning more fat and more calories in general on a regular basis, even while you sleep, right? So you want to do that. Losing weight quickly and not retaining your muscle mass can end up with Ozempic face. Yeah, so we want to avoid that at all costs. I would imagine, unless that's just what you're going for, then. But look, we want to stay focused on the thing that matters the most, right? And that is the fat loss, not just weight loss. Again, it's a shift. I know a lot of us just think about the weight loss, but it is a shift of what we're losing. And again, ideally fat. So by the time you hit your goal, if you're not adding the resistance training in there, you can lose 20 to 40% of your overall body mass. That's going to lower your metabolism. That's going to end up, of course, that slows the rate at which you can burn calories. So then you have to create that deficit that you're already on. Plus, you're going to have to create even more. And by the time you, again, hit that goal weight, you have to maintain that same caloric intake because you can't burn any more calories, meaning that you're going to have to continue on in this just extremely low or lower caloric intake on a daily basis. And nobody wants to live that way. If you want to cut your calories now and create that deficit and drop, and then easily start graduating that back up to a normal level, 2,000 calories a day or so, roundabout, you've got to build some muscle, or at least maintain the muscle that you have. And guys, I'm hoping I catch you early enough along, because this is something that a lot of people go months and months and months, if not years, without changing their mindset on and doing. And then for some, it's a little bit too late, and it's an uphill battle. So I hope to avoid that with you guys today. All right. So as per usual, I've got me a couple of notes right here I'm going to be looking at. So pardon me if I take my eyes off the prize here, but why weight training is important. It maintains or even increases your basal metabolic rate. Like we said a minute ago, of course, that means that you are burning more calories 24/7, even while you sleep. That's a wonderful thing. We want to have the BMR as high as possible to burn more fat and more calories for every action that we do, even the fidgeting around like I do on camera here. So that's burning more calories the more muscle I have on me. Great. Awesome. Cool. I want that for you. I do go into greater depth of BMR, daily calorie expenditure, daily energy expenditure, and all that again in this video. I can't recommend that enough. Again, I know it's not something people like to accept as reality, calories in, calories out, but at the end of the day, you can't really defeat the law of thermodynamics. It is what it is. Whether you agree with me or not, I have to lean into it because that is what the science says. That is what the law of thermodynamics says. That is what everything I've ever looked into says. Now, there are other variables that come into play that can alter the amount of calories in, calories out, and all this and that, but it's still calories in, calories out. When the fat starts falling off, ultimately, with the resistance training, you're going to have a better overall body composition. What does that mean? You won't have that skinny fat look. You guys know what I'm talking about. Some people have that skinny fat look. I've always been the non-skinny fat look, just the fat look. So I have no idea what that is firsthand. But there's that skinny fat look people want to avoid. If you're building muscle, you've already got it there, right? You've already got muscle now. You just can't see it because it's up under the fat. I always say, I've got a six pack. It's just in the cooler. I don't know if anybody else has said something similar to that. And I just now heard it out loud, and it is pretty cheesy. Sorry. Resistance training, specifically weight training, has been proven to improve insulin. I'm sorry, I got allergies, guys. This is the South. It's the spring. Woo, it's rough. But it's proven to improve insulin sensitivity, improve bone density. I can't talk, guys, and assist more in long-term weight maintenance. And that's what we want. We want our long-term results to stick. I don't know how many of you guys follow Keely. She's absolutely amazing. She is off the medication, and she is trying hard to maintain. She's had her ups and her downs, and she could speak to this more than I can. But yes, when you are at the end of the road, or you even get off the medication, if you do, you want to build up that lifestyle and those habits that help you out, which she has, but then also that gym life, that weight training, muscle building kind of lifestyle that you've created that's going to continue to help you out. So we want to find ways to continue to have that long-term success, not just success while you're taking the jab every week. So this is the part where I've got to just throw it out there, like how to get started, going down this path and doing this thing. Of course, you can do stuff at home. I would say that if you can get to a gym, get to a gym. You're going to have better success that way, I think, unless you're just building a home gym and you just really enjoy that gym lifestyle at your home and everything. And you can defocus on all the distractions that are going around. I can't do that. If I'm at home, there's always something going on. I've always got to be doing something. I'm doing the videos. I'm editing videos. I'm doing my filmmaking. I'm doing work. I just swapped out built a brand new computer, and now I'm video editing on it, which is great. Huge improvements, but that's another reason why I'm a little delayed in making the videos, because I haven't had a computer to do my editing on and stuff. The other thing just kind of, was at the end of its road, and it was just time. So took care of that. Thank you for your patience and putting up with me putting this video out a little later than I normally would. But again, here's how you get started. In my opinion, this is just thoughts from me. Take it or leave it, however you want to. First, start looking into your local gyms. Big box gyms are perfectly fine. I know there's a lot of hate and a lot of heat on like the Planet Fitness or the Crunch or some of those. Look, I go to Crunch Fitness, and I chose Crunch over Planet Fitness because they have more of what I want overall. They both have the machines. They both have the cardio. I don't go to the gym for cardio. Totally. I do rowing there once a week, every couple of weeks or something like that. I do my walking in the mornings or at night or whenever. But I will go there to do the rowing because I don't have access to a rowing machine. I really like it because it's a full body cardio kind of thing. It's fantastic. Love it, love it, love it. But I don't do the treadmills, and I don't do the bicycling or the ellipticals or any of that. I go there for weight training, the resistance training, right? So they both got the machines and cardio and all this and that. To me, when I went to Crunch, I saw they had more free weights. They had higher amounts of weights. Not that I'm there, but if I wanted to be, or get to that point, that's great. I really like the layout with the cable machines and the amount of those. Even though they do get crowded, they're nothing like, to me, the Planet Fitness that's local to me. So I opted for Crunch over Planet Fitness. That was just me. Of course, there's other ones around that are not the big box ones. Hey, that's great. Whatever suits you. What you're going to want to look for is find a gym that's close by. Find one that's going to be open when you're going to be able to go, because again, we want to make it as convenient as possible. So you want it to be close. You want it to be open in the hours and the days that you're going to be able to go. You want to have the equipment that you're going to want to use. And, you probably don't want to spend too much money. So all that's got to come into play. I can't help you figure that out. That's just going to be a you thing. What checks all your boxes, right? So go through, check your boxes, and find a gym that you wouldn't mind being a member of, and just go. Get your membership and go. You don't have to have a plan. You don't have to have a workout routine in place. You just need to go. That's like anything else. Getting a YouTube channel started, becoming a filmmaker, starting a business. Sometimes you just got to go. And I don't say you figure it out along the way, but you figure it out along the way, right? So with me, just going and creating a habit or just overcoming that fear of walking through the door and looking goofy as a newbie or whatever, once you realize nobody cares about you, they're not looking at you, they're not making fun of you, they're not judging you, everybody's in their own world with their headphones on and everything. And then when you throw your headphones on, you're in your own world. Then that goes out the window. There's a bunch of fatties in the gym. I'm one of them. Big whoop-de-doo. We're all in there trying to get better. And that's what's up. And people, when they do see it, they recognize it and they appreciate it. And they respect that. So if anything, it's encouraging to go to the gym, because I've actually had people come up to me and say, hey, you're doing awesome. You're doing great. I took my daughter, I shared this on Instagram. I took my daughter, and one of the coaches there says, hey, my dad used to take me when I was a little girl to the gym, and it made me respect my body more, and I got more out of it. And I've never done drugs or drank or anything, and it set me up for success in life. And it really encouraged me to not just continue for myself, but to continue to bring my daughter. So it's been encouraged. I've never been discouraged anytime I've gone to the gym. So highly, highly recommend going to an actual gym. Okay. And then once you find the gym, just go. Just walk through the doors and go. Now, once you've gone a few times and you're starting to get used to the layout, the machines, and what you like or don't like in there, or finding your rhythm and your schedule and stuff, that's when you start kind of fine tuning things. Now, I've talked in this video before about different tools that I use. One of them, and I can't stress this enough, how great of a tool it is, Muscle Wiki. Muscle Wiki is fantastic. Number one, you can get it for free, and it has AI features and how to create different, what workouts to do based off of the equipment that you have and the different muscle groups that you want to use. It's awesome for that. Now, you can't track or do anything like that with the free version. Technically, there's ways to do that. But if you pay for it, and it's incredibly inexpensive, when I say that, trust me, I don't like spending money on anything. I think it was like $2 a month is what I ended up paying for it, or $2.99 a month or something like that. Ridiculously inexpensive. Then you can plan your workouts. You can track your workouts, keep up with your progress, all that stuff. It's awesome. You can do it on the web, you can do it in the app, whatever. But I highly recommend that if you don't know what you're doing. If you do know what you're doing, I still recommend it, because I've started out with that app. Then I started looking at a lot of creators that I'm going to point out here at the end and recommend that you guys check out if you're not following anybody. And started kind of fine tuning what's going to work best for me and what I wanted to hit. The thing is when you work out, you can target muscles you want to build, which is great, because keep in mind, you cannot target fat loss. I don't care who says this is how you lose belly fat. This is how you lose fat in your arms. Unless you're just getting liposuction in those sections, you cannot target body fat. Okay. It's going to go where it's going to go, and it's going to come off where it's going to come off. But you can target your muscles. So for ladies, if you want to do, glutes and legs and back or arms, maybe, you can fine tune that. Fellas, if we wanted to hit those shoulders and get wide and get those traps popping out of our, behind our necks here and all that, cool. You can create workouts for that. Focus on what you want to focus on, even though I do recommend hitting everything if you can. Full body workouts are great. And ladies, don't worry about looking like the Incredible Hulk or anything like that. There's plenty of videos out there that really, really enforce that. Like just going out there and lifting heavy, you're not going to get huge. You can still look feminine. You can still look, like a lady or whatever. I'm not trying to be judgmental or, assume anything about anybody. But I've heard that before. Like, I don't want to get too big. You won't, unless you, all the time. So you're fine. Look, at the end of the day, you can do what you can do, right? So if you can go to the gym one time a week, that's great. That's more than what you're doing now. Go lift heavy, be consistent. If all you can do is one time a week, do it. If you can go 2 times a week, that's twice as good. That's even more better, right? Do it. I go 3 times a week. That's probably the most I would recommend at all. For people, especially on a calorie deficit, which is hopefully what you're on if you're watching this, because you're taking a GLP-1 most likely. When you're on a calorie deficit, you don't have enough calories you're putting in your body to really fuel a ton of working out, right? You don't want to do too much, though. I recommend anywhere from 6 to 10 workouts per session, 6, 10 different exercises. Then you start kind of getting into junk volume a lot of times, and you can only do so many bicep kind of curls before it's just too repetitive and you're hurting your recovery more than you're hurting you're benefiting your gains. So I'm going to get into all that in another video if you guys want me to. I can actually share my routine, what I'm doing, some suggestions and stuff like that. Let me know in the comments down below if that's something you guys would be interested in seeing. Now, I don't know if I'll film myself in the gym necessarily, but be more than happy to share more information and more details on this. I don't want to bog this video down with it too much, but yeah, recovery is huge. Don't push yourself too hard when you're on a calorie deficit, but when you are in the gym, whether it's once, twice, or 3 times a week, lift heavy, as close to or all the way up to failure on a lot of the workouts if you can. Again, my credentials have already come into question when I mentioned calories in, calories out, moving more, eating less or whatever, because apparently you have to have a certificate, degree, or whatever in order to say the things that have already been proven. But here's the thing. These guys right here, I'm going to throw some names up on the screen, and I'm going to have links to their channels down below. I highly recommend them. Some of them are men, some of them are women, some of them are huge and jacked up on steroids, and some of them have never used a steroid or a PD in their life. And all of them have a different journey, just like all of us do. So some of the stuff they're going to say is going to be irrelevant, because they're going to be talking about bulking and cutting and everything for different shows and competitions. That's not anything that you're probably interested in. But if you go through and you find the stuff that is beneficial, they are fantastic at that. Now, I'll use Coach Greg as an example. A lot of his stuff, because he is a YouTuber on top of being an influencer, a health fitness guru guy, he's going to make content that people click on and watch, and it gets the clicks, it gets the views, he makes the money, right? So a lot of drama stuff, natties or not. Some of them are very interesting videos though. But if that's your thing, cool, watch that. But if you can kind of skirt around that on his channel and start finding the different stuff about cardio, working out, muscle gain, dieting, he even has a cookbook. Several of these folks do. But find that stuff. And like I always say, start Frankensteining your monster. If you just watch GLP-1 content creators, very few of them really go into the weight training information. I'm going to cover that some, but these guys cover it more. I always recommend watch your GLP-1 influencers, creators, whatever you want to call us. Watch your dietitian, nutritionist, your cooking YouTube channels for recipes and whatnot, your muscle building, weight loss, energy, gym, whatever channels, find all these different things because they're all different aspects that are going to go into part of your journey that make up the entire thing. So take a little bit from here, take a little bit from there, and work into your lifestyle and your changes what work for you, because not everything will, but find what does and implement that into your journey to have the most success you can possibly have. So look, if you follow my channel for any length of time, you know I'm a huge advocate for putting in the work, not relying on the medication to do everything, because the medication won't do everything. I definitely have seen some comments in the video saying, hey, I've taken the medication, I've lost the weight, everything's good. Well, that's great, but you probably lost a lot of muscle too because you haven't been doing the weight training. And then what happens when that water weight or whatever you're losing stops, right? You got to do the diet. You got to plan that out. You got to track. You got to do the weight training. You got to move more, eat less, however that looks. Again, I'm not going to knock cardio at all, but the weight training, huge. Resistance training, huge. I got to give a big shout out to Paul. Dude's bound to a wheelchair. He can't get up and jog around the block. He can't go to the gym and do some of the equipment that he's doing, but he even promotes it, and he's had amazing success on his weight loss journey. And we even talked about this, like the weight training, resistance training that he's doing is phenomenal. He gets it. And the people that get it, you can tell because they're going to have a different kind of success on this journey. I'm not saying they're going to lose more weight faster, but the way that the weight is lost and the way that they maintain over time is going to be very, very evident. And that's what I hope we can all do. I'm still learning, and I'm not saying that I'm a professional at this at all. I'm learning, and I'm changing my mind all the time as new evidence and new things come to light. And I hope you're doing the same thing. Don't get stuck in the rut where I'm going to get on the medication, I'm going to cut out how much I'm eating, and I'm just going to start running and running and running. That's going to help you get your weight down. But again, you might be cutting your nose off to spite your face if you're not maintaining or building muscle. You know who else appreciates the idea that you've got to do the work and can't just rely on the medication? IVRX. I've been partnered with them for a little bit now, guys, and I've got a discount for you, $50 to $100 off your very first order. I just transitioned to using them from name brand Zepbound. I've had nothing but success while on there every single week. The numbers have been dropping as well, and I'm stoked. I love them. Their customer service is fantastic. I just reached out to them to start trying some Moreland. I think I should be getting that this week, and we'll be starting that. I'll let you guys know how that is, and I've got a discount code for you on that as well, I believe. So I will get back to you guys on that. But for GLP-1s, and they have several, you do work with a doctor, and they do prescribe it, and they ship it to you. It's super simple. I did a review on that on this channel, I want to say, and then I know I talked about it on the Instagram. I did an unboxing there, so go check them out. But IVRX Scale 50 is going to save you $50 to $100 off. They're already very, very competitive with their pricing, but I like them even if they're not the cheapest because of their customer service, because I kind of did my homework on them and did some digging with their pharmacy. And to me, everything checked out across the board. And if you feel that way too, I highly encourage you to check them out. If you need someone to get your GLP-1s from, I'm not trying to sell GLP-1s, but if you're going to get started and you don't know where to go, they're fantastic to work with. I truly can't recommend them enough. Go check them out if that's something you're interested in. So as mentioned earlier, I do talk about Muscle Wiki and my other tracking apps in this video right here. I do recommend checking that out if you hadn't already. And then YouTube thinks you might like this video. So, you can do one or both or whatever, but whatever you do, guys, hit the gym, make a difference in your life. Go out there and conquer the scale. Never let the scale conquer you. We'll see you on the next one.